Yo, welcome back to SeaBed. Last time, Narasaki talked with Kozue, Sachiko had a weird dream, we got taken to an onsen, and Sachiko freaked out in the tunnel and was tweaking out, and that was pretty much it. Sorry. So if you remember last time, I had like a whole thing where I could have sworn I saw an image appear for like one frame before it faded to black during this scene. I tried opening up my recording and look at it frame by frame, but I couldn't see it. So I went back and checked to see if I was going crazy. I can confirm that I was not going crazy. I guess I just didn't see it in my recording because, I mean, either there's something wrong with VLC, which I doubt, or it's probably just because I'm recording at 60 FPS. So this game is probably running at higher than that, and I just happened to miss the one frame that that showed it, which means you guys didn't see it either. I mean, so I can just go through it right now. I purposely went back and saved right before this happened. I mean, but you can see, like, I don't know if you guys saw that. I can do it over and over again. Maybe we'll get lucky and you'll be able to see it at some point. But this is clearly, it's Narasaki, clearly. Like, the Takuko's sprite changes to be Narasaki for one frame. So this is very interesting, and brings up a lot of questions. Does this mean that Takuko never existed and it's always been just Sachiko has always been dating Narasaki? Or maybe after Takuko died, Sachiko started dating Narasaki and just imagined Takuko as being Narasaki? Maybe? But yeah, I mean, definitely very, very intriguing. Okay. So that's that mystery solved. I guess I should put that in my notes. Seems kind of important. Takuko turned into Sachiko for one frame in Sachiko's memory. Okay. This is where we were at. Drinking bout. Let's go with Narasaki since you just appeared out of nowhere from one frame. You're kind of suspicious of you now. Auntie always complains when I use oil in the main kitchen. Let's do this in the annex. The annex was connected to the east wing with a roofed corridor. While the main east wing was built out of plaster and bricks, the annex was more like a traditional Japanese building. Nane unlocked the door and slid the partition window open. The relatively wide entrance was circular in shape. The ground base in front of the door was made of stone and had some wooden flooring above it. You can leave your shoes there. Nane swiftly slid out of her shoes, using only her heels as the basket occupied her hands. She then stepped inside. I took off my shoes and followed Nana as the wooden floor creaked under my steps. The corridor was too narrow to walk side by side, but it took only a few steps to reach the stairs. I looked up, but it was too dark to see anything. Oh yeah, Auntie gave me a bottle of some pretty good alcohol as a present the other day. Can you handle sake? Yes. Where is this? Wait, where are you right now? The annex was... You're in the annex? Connected to the east wing. Yeah, guys, we're gonna say this looks so different from the rest of the hotel. Then I slid open the partition door on the opposite end of the stairs. Go ahead. I entered the room. Nani followed closely behind me, but quickly disappeared behind another half partition. Have a seat and relax. The room was about 15 square meters in terms of size, and its window gave a view of a bamboo forest and some red wildflowers that could have been peonies. Aside from a dining table and a wardrobe, I also plotted tree lights under the shell-like lampshade. What kind of room is this? I picked up the two futons I noticed in the corner of the room, placed them on both ends of the table, and sat down on one. The thick fabric was well dried and didn't hurt my legs at all. This is the maid's room, but these days I'm the only one that occasionally uses it. I heard a voice from beyond the partition. Through the somewhat darkened partition, I could partially see a kitchen. Could you turn on the heater for me? Nana addressed me from the kitchen while massaging her tired legs. I reached out at the heater standing next to me and flipped its switch. The thing made a cracking sound before its bright orange flame lit up behind a metal grate. I turned it on. Thanks. Ah, wait. Nanae stood up and disappeared into the kitchen again. 2 plates of freshly made tempura, along with 2 bowls of miso soup, are still on the table. Did you use the flowers we picked up, or the leaves we picked up along the way? The well-mounted vegetables leaves Nanae used for the dish were crispy at the edges. Okay, she did, but green in the middle. The whole dish seemed to have just the right amount of crispiness. Meanwhile, the miso soup contained the rest of the vegetables we gathered. Apart from the shepherd's purse, the shiitake mushrooms, and the carrots, I could taste the leaves and stems of a few other plants. Sorry for making you wait. Nanae appeared from the kitchen holding a bottle. Seems like I made a bit less than I thought. It's enough for me, but if you want to make more, I'll help. Nah, we still have dinner ahead of us, so I'll use the rest of the vegetables for that. Here you go. She filled a transparent glass with sake and handed it to me. After staring at it for a few moments, I tilted the glass against my mouth. A cold sensation extended across my throat. It's like water. Tasty and easy to drink, right? It's my favorite brand of Yamagata. Nanae took a sip from her own glass after taking a bite of shiitake tempura. Meanwhile, I gulped down the remains of my drink. Want some more? Nanae raised the bottle when she saw me empty my glass. After a second or two of hesitation, I held out my glass in front of her. I watched it get slowly filled up again. I took another gulp and let out a breath. I noticed Nanae staring at me. Yeah, she's staring very intensely. I thought your hair was black as the darkness in that tunnel, but your eyes seems to be just like that too. Mine are not as dark. I really like black eyes, you know, and black hair. Are you flirting with me? There's no shortage of that in Japan. Nanae placed her crossed arms on the table, leaning against it. Her face drew closer to mine as a result. When I go overseas, I see lots and lots of different eyes. Light blue, emerald, ruby. I think they're all nice, and I even feel jealous at times. But colorful things all depend on the mood, don't you think? Like blue eyes can look somewhat creepy when they sparkle in the sun, stuff like that. So in the end, I feel that black is actually the best color. It doesn't stand out, but it's stable, and you don't need to worry about scaring people with it. I feel like black is the scariest. What do you mean? Like The Grudge, you know? I tried concentrating my gaze on Nanae's eyes, but realized I couldn't. Like, imagine you're feeling down, then someone with colorful eyes like that stares at you. Wouldn't you feel a little anxious? No? I'm not sure. I wonder if it's because my eyes are not dark enough. Nanae straightened her posture and filled up another glass with drink. Okay, maybe slow down on the drinks a bit, Nanae. I felt like the lights were blinking in the room. Or was it just me blinking in slow motion? Is it okay if I close my eyes for a little? Sleepy again? Sure. Are you sleepy? Want to return to your room? I'm fine. I just want to close my eyes for a bit. I leaned against the bed behind my back and rested my head against it. Its cool wooden texture felt as though it was whisking away my consciousness. Soon enough, I couldn't feel anything. Okay, this time we're getting the full picture. This time it's not like half covered. I could hear the cry of cicadas around me. The hot, humid air felt heavy on my skin. A row of large trees extended in front of me. They reminded me of cedars, but their leaves were flat and big. There was a green fence behind them, and beyond that fence there was a wide, deep ditch. I couldn't see the bottom from here, but I could tell there was a river, roughly 5 meters deep, running through it. The park area was shaped like a shortcake, situated between the ditch and the road. Beside the road had a slide connected to a jungle gym, some swings, a tire half buried in the ground, and a sandbox. I wonder if this is another dream. I took a deep breath, letting the familiar scent of soil fill my nostril. Just look at where the sun is, and you'll know. I looked up to see the sky covered in white mist that made the sunlight appear a pale hue of pink or yellow, depending on the location. Oh! There's a... Was that supposed to be Narasaki? Because that didn't look like Narasaki at all. That looked like Maiko. That looked like either Maiko or Sanae, but that did not look like Narasaki. 2 children suddenly rushed by my feet. A girl with a ponytail and another one with long, straight black hair. Can I see them again, please? That is not Narasaki. That is definitely... I mean, I would say this looks more like Maiko. But it could be Sanae, I guess. Let's catch some cicadas today. The one who gets the most win. No thanks. I'd rather play with my doll. The ponytail girl was holding hands with the black-haired one while also carrying an insect net. Or is this not just Sachiko? I mean, it could be either of them. But I don't know why Sachiko would be seeing herself in her dream. I mean, maybe. Meanwhile, the black-haired girl was holding a doll in her free hand. You can borrow my net. Here. I don't like bugs. It's easy. Look, there's a cicada right there. I'll show you how this works. The young taco pulled me by the hand on a large tree. Okay, I guess. Okay, so we're seeing a memory, but in third person. Okay, so this is Sachiko. Okay. She readied the net with her mouth wide open. Hey, kya! The insect flew away, wouldn't Takuko's net as she swung it downwards. I felt something touch my face. I'm leaving. The black-haired girl began walking towards the park exit, wiping her face with the back of her hand. Hey, wait, I've just had a bit of bad luck there. Takuko, still looking for the escaped cicada, turned around with a panicked expression and chased after the girl. However, as she did so, a sizable dragonfly flew right across her face. It's a golden-winged dragonfly! Whoa! She chased after the dragonfly, swinging the insect net in its direction. Glancing down, I spotted something on the ground. I picked it up and brushed the dirt off it. It was the doll the black-haired girl had with her. I knew it well. Hey, I caught Takuko, who was about to pass by me in her relentless chase after the dragonfly by the shoulder. Whoa, your friend dropped this. You should bring it to her. Oh, that's Sachi's doll. Sachi's doll. That was mentioned before, I believe. Feels vaguely familiar. I raised my hand, making the blanket slide down my shoulders. I had a faint recollection of its light purple color and a rose embroidery. I must have dozed off at the table. What is this song? The sound of running water stopped. You awake? Nane's voice came from the kitchen. Thirsty? I looked at Nane to see her wiping her hands with a towel. No, I'm okay. How long did I sleep? About an hour, I guess. The light reaching me through the bamboo blinds illuminated her hand in orange. I'm sorry, I meant to help you wash the dishes. It's okay. I could see countless snowflakes dancing in the sky through the window behind Nane's back, piling up on the bamboo fence. You look pale. It's gotten pretty cold, so maybe one blanket wasn't enough. Nane came closer to me and checked my temperature with the back of her hand. Phew, you don't seem to have a fever at least. Might be because of how much I drank. It's been a while for me. I tried to stand up but realized that my neck was numb. The world began to spin around me. I lowered my head before the numbness extended across my entire body. It's okay, I just got a little dizzy from making a sudden move. As my vision returned to normal, I realized I was leaning against Nane's shoulder. Maybe you should lie down for a bit. I'm okay. More importantly, I remember the dream I just had. What kind of dream? A memory from my youth. I was hunting cicadas in the park. You? I got forced into it by a friend. Did you catch any? I went home before that could happen. But then my friend came to my house the next day with a big dragonfly in the basket to apologize. She said she'd give it to me if I forgave her. And did you? No way, I mean, if she had brought a flower or something, then she said she'd get something even better for me. I had to try pretty hard to stifle my smile. Sounds like a weird kid. You're telling me. She never listened to others. So you didn't make up that day? We did. I told her I didn't need any other bugs, but then she tried to open the basket with a dragonfly right there in front of me, saying she'll give it to me anyway. In the end, I ended up promising to forgive her if she didn't open the basket anywhere near me. You made up like that? Yes. You know, you're both pretty weird. Nane smiled. I shrugged and smiled myself. I've been having dreams of my past quite frequently as of late. I glanced at the snow outside the window. Maybe it's because this place reminds me of my old home. I've heard that having dreams is a result of your brain organizing things it experienced during the day. Maybe it came upon an old album as it stored the tunnel, the hot springs, the pussy willow, and the rest of experiences from earlier. Maybe. It's started to become a recurring thing at this point, though. Maybe there's something you want to remember. Maybe. A small rectangular mirror was hung up on the wall in front of me. I could see myself in it, leaning on the table with one head. Was the insect girl from your dream the same one that went with you to Italy? Yes. So you knew each other since childhood? Yes. I wish I had a friend like that. You didn't? Barely any kid lived in the middle of nowhere place like this. Even in my class at school, there were only a handful of kids my age, and they all moved away as soon as they graduated too. Apparently it's too boring here. Didn't you? But then in the tips, you had 2 other friends, right? I mean, I guess they moved away, but you're still friends with them, right? There's the one that you went to the zoo with. And not a single one of them ever came back? Nope, it must be a lot of fun living in the city. Doesn't that contradict the tips? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I imagine most of them have become too busy to even consider things like that. Although it all depends on the person, of course. Well, I might have said I wished for a friend like that, but it doesn't mean I'm lonely out here. I never had a soulmate like you, so this is pretty much the norm for me. I see. Besides, I can enjoy nature to my heart's content. I'm not bored. Then I picked up the cup of cold tea from the table and gulped it down. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's boring here either. I'm having lots of fun too. You're going back to Tokyo in a few days, right? Any plans once you've arrived? I'll still have 1 day's worth of vacation time left, so I'll do some cleaning, then head to work the next day. How about extending your stay here? She looked at me with a teacup still in her hand. Why not try working here with me? Auntie would look after us both like a real mother, I can guarantee that. That's kind of a big thing to ask, but I don't know anything about your job. Hey, it's not a big deal, we don't get that many guests anyway. Could only help with cleaning at first, and that'd be enough. The butterbur you found will be in season to eat in a couple of weeks. I'd love to make you something with it. And in the spring, the entire forest will be in bloom. You have no idea how amazing the road to the hot springs looks during that time of the year. I guess I should bring a lunchbox with me then. There's another road down the mountain that goes right through the blooming trees. Could have lunch in the field by the river. I glanced at the calendar hanging next to the mirror. It all sounds very appealing, but I'm afraid I can't do that. I like my current job, and we were the ones who established that office to begin with. I see. I heard footsteps in the corridor. I think you're having those dreams because of your old girlfriend. You're feeling lonely on your own and want to return to the past. Perhaps. I don't think I've ever had dreams of the past, but I see lucid dreams a lot. Have you seen any? I shook my head. I mean, the last one was a lucid dream, right? Because you were in the dream and you were aware that it was a dream. Well, they're mostly like regular dreams, except you retain your full consciousness. You can basically do whatever you want in them. Can you tell me about any specific examples? Yeah. Oh. What are you doing? You look a bit crazy there, Nanae. Nanae staggered to her feet and slowly lowered herself onto me. I ended up being pinned under her on the ground. I don't know if you're a bit thick or if you're just pretending, so I'll say it outright. I think I'm in love with you. Yeah, no shit. Nanae's face was right in front of me, though her eyes seemed to be having trouble focusing on anything. Are you drunk? I am. Enough to blame this on the alcohol. The small sigh escaped her teeth. I think we're a good match. As a couple, I mean. How? You're pretty stubborn and don't let the others push you around. You're being pretty forward right now, Nanae. I feel like there's a better way you could have gone about this. And those around you don't mind that part of you at all. I mean this in a positive way. It's because you have strong character. But at the same time, one could also call you selfish. Your set of values is so rigid that others usually have to concede and go along with you. And I'm good at that. I don't get it. What didn't you get? That you're stubborn? Or that I'm good at going along with others? The reason why you think we're a good match. Nanae smiled happily. That's what's good about you. What I like about you. By the way, do you remember that man I was talking to in the yard the other day? No? He's been doing that job for over 10 years now. I guess you'd call him a tax collector of a sort, although we only pay him for fuels and light expenses. Anyway, he's part of the countryside infrastructure. It's apparently a very stable and secure job too. He makes his rounds every day, visiting the same houses, collecting the same amount of money. I once asked him if it was fun doing the same thing over and over again. It was more of a comment than a question on my part. I asked him if he ever travels overseas for change of pace and whatnot, but he told me he didn't have a passport, never had one, and that his job wasn't really all that boring to him. Over a decade, he has gradually learned how to drive from one house to another more efficiently, how to talk to customers, and so on. He's apparently able to squeeze enjoyment out of all those minuscule changes. I was really surprised. How can one enjoy such a monotone life? He only goes in circles, stuck in the same place forever. I couldn't imagine anything more terrible. Did you tell him that? No, even I wouldn't go that far. You can't say a thing like that in the countryside. Well, I don't know if it's any different in the city. Anyway, it's not good to be too direct out here in the countryside. People like keeping everything on ambiguous terms. It's like our society is a puzzle board, and people are the pieces. It only works when they all fit perfectly together, but that can't happen if you're too much of an individual. Inside, everyone's completely different. Some might be like gelatinous amoeba, while others can take the shape of a star with rigid edges. So for everyone to fit together, we need an escape where we can be ourselves, and that's a hobby. Did that make any sense? Well, I feel like I understood the part about the countryside anyway. Phew. Anyway, what was that about you wanting to date me? Anyway, I digress. Or rather, this will make sense later, but we were talking about how we were compatible. You were talking about that. I wasn't talking about that. So in connection with what I started, there was another more personal reason why I never told him what I thought. Can you tell what it was? A difference in your values? Yeah. How do you figure that out? There are many reasons why one wouldn't feel and reveal their thoughts to another person, but he mentioned it was a personal reason, so... Nanae nodded. That guy's the oldest son of a local farmer, so I'll have to take over that business eventually. As such, how can I, a person without parents, responsibilities, or any strings attached, tell him what to do with his life? I might have ended up bringing a whole heap of trouble on his family if I accidentally convinced him. Well, people in the city are tied down by their responsibilities just the same. I see, that makes things easier. It all comes down to your values. The sets of beliefs I have as a free person and the values of those that have to support their families are entirely too different. It's impossible for two people like that to communicate honestly, and neither would they understand the other even if they tried. The way you see the world depends on the environment and positions in society. We're all pieces in the puzzle called society. Wow, we really do live in a society. Exactly. Anyway, I keep discussing, but I'm almost done. The reason we're perfect for each other is because of how our values work. I've kept thinking about this ever since I met you. Nanae hesitated for a second, drawing her face back with her eyes closed. Your emotions are very faint, have you noticed that? When you're happy, sad, or angry, not like I've ever seen you angry, but even when you talk about Takako, I can't see any sorrow in you. It's like you impersonally report the facts with little to no subjectivity. And? Could it be that you didn't even cry when Takako passed away? She paused there. That's a kind of personal question, Nanae. I kept silent, so she ended up opening her mouth again. You're free to get angry at me, but I feel your conception of loss is completely different from other people's. It's not something most people would understand, and I imagine it makes life pretty tough to live. Smiling, Nanae went on. But you've got nothing to worry about. This is what all comes down to. I think your perception of the world will be in perfect harmony with mine. I can adapt myself to any person. I mean, I was brought up here in the mountains. I've watched plants, animals, and just nature in general my whole life. If you get too close to a hornet's nest, you'll get stung. If you eat a poisonous mushroom, you'll end up in bed with a stomachache. You can't climb or jump down a steep cliff. There's no room for negotiation in nature. They all have their sets of values, rigid as stone, and all I can do is respect them and adapt. That's the way I live. Even if you're right about me, it doesn't necessarily mean I particularly want to be understood or have anyone adapt to my lifestyle. Don't you ever want to share your thoughts with someone? I don't know if, I mean, I understand what she's saying, but I don't know if that's true. I feel like the people that tend to live, like, in nature and, like adapt to nature aren't exactly the most, accepting of people socially, generally. I looked away from Nanae's honest, passionate eyes. I'm happy about your feelings, but to be honest, I don't think I'll ever get Takako out of my mind. I don't mind. Jesus. Oh, yes. That's crazy. That's crazy. Nanae raised her upper body, took out a brand from her sleeve, and fastened her hair into twin tails. Okay, how do you even know that Takako did her hair in twin tails, though? Because you said you never met her. Did we tell you that? I don't remember us telling you that. Even I'm surprised by how strongly I feel about you. I don't care if I have to be a replacement for someone else. The way she smiled down at me from above reminded me of Takako. I think it'd be better for you too. The thoughts you never voice are no different from thoughts that don't exist. They make you anxious. If you continue being like that, you'll end up vanishing yourself. You can think all you want, but feelings without a target are hardly different from feelings that don't exist at all. She, with her face reminiscent of Takako's, gazed deeply into my eyes, eager for an answer. We could start our lives anew. Now is the perfect opportunity. For us both. The face of the woman in front of me kept flickering back and forth between Takako's and Nanae's. In that case, feelings can exist as long as they're conveyed properly, right? I felt like I heard someone's voice. It's not like Narasaki's. Right, I was thinking of asking Nanae about Narasaki back when I met her in front of the back door. However, this was definitely not the right time to ask. I leaned against my elbow and sat up, forcing Nanae to get off me. I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll think about it. Anyway, see you. I see. Nanae fell silent and looked away for a moment, as though thinking about something. Okay, think about it. I still feel kind of drunk. I think I'll go outside to cool down a little. Alright. I gotta say, doing your hair like my dead ex-girlfriend and then saying I can replace her isn't exactly the... I don't know if it's the best strategy when you're trying to confess to someone. I was walking in the snow along the camellia fence when I saw Sachiko approaching from the opposite direction. Hey, fancy seeing you here. Narasaki, what are you doing here? Just out for a walk. What about you? You look pale. I drank too much. Drinking while the sun's still up will make you grow old faster, apparently. Doing it once in a blue moon won't kill me, will it? Are you okay? Yes, I was on my way to my room to rest. Good. Don't forget to drink plenty of water before going to bed. Thanks. Sachiko passed by me. Oh, it did snow? I thought it hadn't snowed yet. I turned around to see her back recede towards the mansion as she treaded the snow-covered path. I turned back and continued in the direction Sachiko came from. Following the path created by her footsteps made it easier to walk across the snow. As I turned my attention towards the annex of the east wing, I saw the door suddenly open, revealing Nanae. I raised my hand to greet her. Sure is cold today. Nanae wore a long-sleeved strainer and some light-colored jeans. It was clear in the morning, so I didn't expect for all the snow to suddenly pile up. Well, I did tell you about how fickle the weather was here in the mountains. Looking at Nanae's face nearly made me gasp. Her hair was fastened into long twin tails. I watched them sway in the cold breeze. How are you feeling? What do you mean? Nanae looked at me with a frown. Sorry, I just remembered something. Gotta run. Sachiko, are you in? I knocked on the door and trained my ears, but couldn't hear a sound. I'm opening the door. The stale air of the room escaped through the door as I opened it. I couldn't see Sachiko in her bed. Stepping into the room, I took a quick look around. Her bag was on the other side of the bed. Her pouch was on the dressing table. I walked closer to the window. There was a chessboard on the table. The pieces were in the same arrangement as we left them. An old doll sat in the chair by the window. Oh yeah, that's the doll. Yeah, I remember. Wait. Wasn't Narasaki the one that was always carrying a doll around? And she said it was like the clinic's mascot? Is that the same doll that Sachiko had as a kid? I looked all over the mansion, and as I finally stepped outside, I ran into Kozue. Hey, another day of research? Yes. Kozue gave me a sideways glance. What about you? I was looking for something. I see. Kozue jumped from one stone to another on the stone path. Looking only at her profile, I couldn't properly read her expression. I could tell Sachiko wasn't inside as soon as I reached the library. After wandering the library for a while, I exchanged a few words with Kozue, then left. Meanwhile, I was thinking about Sachiko. I tried imagining where I would go if I was her, but I couldn't come up with anything. Alright. I walked through the forest in the evening glow. Hearing a rustle, I turned around to see a dove looking for food among the withered leaves. The sound of noon birds had waned, and day slowly turned into night. Sachiko, if you can hear me, please answer. I strained my ears but heard nothing. Well, I guess that's that. I saw something sparkle in the woods beyond the dove. Continuing in that direction, I found a clear lake with the evening mountain reflected on its surface. Its tide waves glimmered gently. I drew closer to the water, spotting a bunch of white clovers. I looked over them for a while, but couldn't find any four-leafed ones. Suddenly, I heard a splash of water. The size of the ripples on the surface weren't enough to determine whether the sound was caused by a water bird or a fish. By the time I looked up, I realized that the sky has taken on a deep blue hue, giving home to countless stars. I tried looking for the Big Dipper in Cassiopeia, but found the Southern Cross instead. Wait. Can't you only see the Southern Cross in the South Hemisphere? They said that when they were at the island, right? That's why it's called the Southern Cross. I mean, like right now I'm googling and it's saying that you can only see it in the Southern Hemisphere, or like very rarely you can sometimes see it in the Northern Hemisphere, but it's mostly in the Southern Hemisphere. But I don't care too much about what Google is telling me. What's more important is what the game told me, and I'm pretty sure the game told me explicitly that you could only see the Southern Cross in the Southern Hemisphere, right? I mean, I can go back and check. It was I remember where it was. It was at the end of the island scene when they were looking at the sky. It wouldn't take too long to find. What? I rolled my eyes and looked at the night sky again. I gave up on that and looked at the lake and said, yeah, she's confused too, because she shouldn't be able to see it, right? I let out a gasp. Oh, she's on the island? The lake had disappeared with a shoal taking its place. The mirror-like surface of the lake was no more. Instead, I saw countless puddles in the sand extending beyond the horizon. All of them reflected the night sky. I looked at one of the puddles. My eyes missed Sachiko's as she looked down on me from an inverted position. You're seeing Sachiko in your reflection? Is that what you meant? Okay, what? New tips in Narasaki's clinic. Are we done with this chapter? Yeah, okay. A cat in an aquarium. Oh please, not more aquariums. Not more. I've had enough aquarium stories. Okay. Getting weird with it. I don't want to save over that. I looked at one of the puddles, and my eyes met Sachiko's as she looked down on me from an inverted position. But it's weird because, like, this is implying that Sachiko and Narasaki are the same person, or like different sides of each other. But earlier, the thing with Narasaki, or the thing with Takako turning into Narasaki for one frame, seems to imply that Takako is Narasaki. If Takako is Narasaki and Sachiko is Narasaki, then everyone is Narasaki. Everyone is everyone. Let's go look at the tips. They were in Narasaki's clinic, so they're not in this, right? Yeah. Furnace and night duty room. After the bath, Sachiko came to the furnace room. Without even trying to fight the loud noise inside, she mouthed that the bath was not open and free to use. I gestured that I understood. I'd normally use the shower in the clinic, but once a week, I'd heat up the underground bath. After making sure that the furnace was working as intended, I headed to the bath. Upon entering, I washed my stuff off and stepped into the hot water. We've never seen this in the mansion, right? I let myself into the water, letting my hips, shoulders, and neck be completely immersed, with only my chin remaining above the surface. Heating up the bath was a bit of a pain, but the payoff was more than worth it. But that initial tedium was exactly what made finishing it so satisfying. I remembered how there used to be more patients than doctors in this clinic in the past. Really? We'd have the bath heated every day back in those days. But eventually the number of our patients decreased, and so did the doctors. Soon enough, evening was upon us, and the only source of illumination in the human bathroom became the thin rays of light from the ceiling. I remember my experience in room 208 today. I tried looking for traces of the unfamiliar bedroom that appeared in front of me for a brief moment, but couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. I took a deep breath and slowly exhaled it. I wonder if it wasn't all just a dream of some sort. Let's go look at the sun to confirm. I felt like I heard something, prompting me to strain my ears. I could quite clearly hear the sound of drops falling to the wet floor, but somewhere in the distance I felt like I could hear voices. It was just a feeling though. I splashed my face with the hot water. I was probably tired. Now that I thought about it, the only time I slept over the past few days was the one time when I lost consciousness for an hour or so. When was that? After soaking for some time, I stood up and wiped the remaining water off my skin. Then I changed back into my clothes and dried my hair with the dryer resting by the water basin. Lost consciousness. I turned everything off and left the keys to the furnace and dressing room where they belonged. I was just about ready to head off towards the night duty room when a sudden onset of dizziness made me stagger on my feet. I managed to get myself some coffee and emergency sleep once I got back. Oh, that's it. Okay, that was short. I'm not sure what the tip was there, but okay. Night duty room. I guess the fact that she passed, she fucking lost consciousness for an hour. Okay, we've seen this room before. It was already 8 by the time I returned to my night duty room. I had a cup of hot coffee and lay down on the bed. Yeah, this is the same room Takako and Maiko were sleeping in, right? I turned on my back and closed my eyes. I expected to fall asleep right away, but it didn't quite work out that way. The coffee might have dispelled my drowsiness a little. I stood up, flipped the notebook lying on the table open with one hand, and I had another look at the diary. It was a short thing, so I ended up going through it in no time at all. However, I had this odd feeling about it. I read through the entries again. Something was missing. Not the pages I myself tore out, of course. Still don't know why you did that, and it wasn't some sort of misunderstanding on my part either. I couldn't recall the exact date, but a certain episode I remembered clear as day was missing from the text. I lifted my coat off the wall hanger and took out the memo pad from its pocket. A fragment of that missing episode was jotted down on it. I had a bad feeling about this. I felt the entire clinic squirm as I touched the wall of the corridors. I took the key and hurried over to room 208. As I finally reached Sachiko's room, I knocked on the door. I was waiting for a while, but I received no answer. I tried again, but there was only silence. It was possible she had just fallen asleep after her bath. All I might have done here is wake her up. However, I was too worried to care about that now. I knocked again just in case. Upon receiving no answer, I unlocked and pushed the door open. An empty bed was the first thing that entered my vision. I entered the room and looked around, but she was nowhere in sight. Both the door and the window were locked. I called her name, but it was met by only silence. I even looked under the bed to make sure she wasn't just hiding somewhere. No other strange phenomena occurred, though. There was not a single trace left of Sachiko's presence. Her clothes were gone, and her bedsheet didn't look slept on. This was the room 208 before her arrival. I left the room and checked the bathroom, the inner yard, and the dressing room, as well as any other place I assumed Sachiko might visit. Unable to find her even after all that, I began looking for clues about her departure. That said, I couldn't imagine her leaving without letting me know. This place didn't have any exit. First, I investigated the front doors of the lobby. I turned the doorknob, but the door didn't move an inch. It was locked. Next, I checked the side exit in the west wing, but the result was the same. Finally, I went to the library through the connecting corridor. I don't think this connecting corridor exists in the mansion we've seen. The door was once again locked. Just in case, though, I unlocked it and entered the building. I took out a pen light from my chest pocket and used it to guide my path. I descended the spiral staircase, reaching the big doors with the counter. That was the last exit that could lead outside. I tried to turn the doorknob. The door let out a metallic creak, but otherwise remained motionless. The doorknob refused to budge. I left the library, but couldn't think of any other place to check. I looked all over the clinic, going so fast to check every single one of the black windows. My mind kept going in circles. I wondered if I hadn't made some sort of a mistake. I kept retracing my memories, going all the way back to the first time Sachiko came here. As I gave up and returned to the night duty room, the clock had just struck 4 a.m. I tried in vain to count the hours I'd been awake for. Either way, I was at my limit. I collapsed on the tatami floor and used the closest futon as a pillow. It took me a moment for my consciousness to be swallowed by darkness. What the hell? The night duty room was bright when I woke up. I immediately remembered what happened the previous night. I rose to my feet and noticed the notebook I read yesterday still resting on the table. It looked like proof that I wasn't dreaming. I stretched my back and rubbed my neck. I inhaled a deep breath, then let it all out. In the end, I couldn't find Sachiko anywhere. Ooh. I opened the notebook on the table. I flipped through a few pages. However, no matter where I looked, I could only find empty white pages. It seemed like all the records had simply vanished. I calmed myself down and considered what to do next. First of all, I had to find Sachiko, and to do that, I'd have to leave this clinic. However, I had no keys that would make such a feat possible. What? You're locked in here? What do you mean? This is so... She can't leave the clinic? This has to be like a dream, right? All of these tips, all of Narasaki's clinic. The diary became empty. Dude, what the fuck? What was the thing that was missing from the diary? Takiko's death, or... Okay, if we imagine this symbolically, and we imagine that, like I said, I don't know if it was this episode, but I said previously, that these tips are just inside Narasaki's mind palace. What would it mean for Sachiko to disappear from the mind palace? That she's forgotten about her? Or if they're the same person somehow, that her personality got erased? I don't... We're getting really weird with it. I don't know. This doesn't seem right. I want to go check something real quick. Okay, I have to start it. No, I can't. I don't have a good save file. I wanted to go check what they said about the Southern Cross on the island, but I'm like 99% sure they said it only appeared in the Southern Hemisphere, and that's why Narasaki was freaked out when she saw it in the sky. And obviously, like when she looked down, she was on the island. Okay, let's continue, I guess. Man, oh man. Put my echo back on. As I sat on the futon and gazed at the trees beyond the dark window, I felt something akin to a thin layer of mist cover my vision. I closed my eyes and opened them again. A lot of mist. Mist keeps coming up, it seems like. The Christmas tree returned to my field of view. As the light of the star shining through its branches illuminated the room, it summoned voices in vague shapes as during the shadow play. After I spent more time gazing at the trees, Mariko returned to the room from the kitchen holding a transparent cup with water in it. I took it from her, had a quick sip of the cold liquid, and stretched my back. I'm so tired. Thanks for all you've done. I took another sip from the cup. I handed it back to Mayako and collapsed onto the futon. That's not very ladylike, Takuko, said Mayako as she sat down in the traditional Japanese way, with her legs under her knees. How come you're not tired? You work more than me. My nose keeps fucking clogging still. I've been sick for so long. Oh, I won't tire out from that much. I wouldn't exactly be qualified for this job if I did. I guess it's harder than it looks. Thanks. You're welcome. Although if you want to express your gratitude, you can wake up early tomorrow and help me with the rest of the cleaning. I'll do my best. Marco placed the cap on the tray by the pillow. I'm turning off the lights. Okay. Marco pulled on the string and the room fell into darkness. Ah, wait. The lights turned on again. I stood up and walked to the door. Where are you going? I'm off to pick some flowers. In the middle of the night? Malcolm made a puzzled face. Sure, it sounds fun. I'll be right back, so feel free to go back to sleep. Okay, sure, why not? Not like you look after your patients at all, so who cares? Okay. I could hear Michael's voice through the gap of the closing door. The air in the corridor was cold, just like outside. I continued down the dim corridor until the corner. The silhouette of a tree whistled beyond the window. I washed my hands with freezing cold water, letting the chill seep into my bones. Afterward, I turned off the tap and wiped the water off with a white towel next to the sink. I looked in the mirror, seeing my own eyes gazing back at me. Suddenly, I saw something move behind me. A ghost? I turned around. There was nothing there except for the dim little corridor stretching into the darkness. Why is the right side so, like, red? I narrowed my eyes, trying to make out something. Little by little, I managed to make out the wallpaper at the end of the corridor. The shadow cast only by the trees beyond the window made it look almost like a face in the moonlight. A ghost! The silhouette of a person suddenly passed by that surreal face at the wall, only to disappear further into the darkness. Sanae? I walked to the end of the corridor and peeked beyond the corner. The spiral staircase was not lit up, and instead led downwards into complete darkness. I strained my ears but I heard only the clanging of that contraption from outside, a metallic trinket attached to a wooden pole. Welcome back. Maiko greeted me as I returned. I staggered to the futon and chose to slip into Maiko's instead of my own. Did something happen? I think I saw something in the mirror. Takuko, I think we've already agreed on this. No ghost stories past 9 o'clock. Yeah, we did, but I really did see something in the corridor. I'm sure it was just the shadows of a tree branch or something. A gust of wind rattled the night duty room window. The trees outside continued to rustle. The metallic thing clanged against the wooden flagpole in the distance. I felt like I could smell the sea through a gap in the window. Smell the sea. Marco stood up and clasped the string, serving as the light switch. I'm turning off the lights. I nodded, and with a short snap, the room fell into darkness. Only the uneven moonlight illuminated the world around me. Good night. Night. I closed my eyes and drifted off to sleep right away for a change. I had two dreams that night. One was about a plush toy, the other about one of my old trips. The two had no relations whatsoever, and I couldn't even remember which one I had first, until they completely blurred together in my memories, rendering the question meaningless to begin with. I was playing with the diary girl and the plush toys in the children's room. The diary girl? Who is the diary girl? There were 4 plushies in total. An otter, a fat bird, a man with arms and legs, and a doctor. I got the otter from the aquarium I liked. A mother otter held many little others in her embrace. The cubs, in turn, each held seashells. You could take the other cubs if you removed the magic tape on the mother's paw. As I got my own room for the first time in my life after we moved, it took me some time to get used to sleeping alone. As a result, this otter plush ended up keeping me company in bed many a night. Okay. The bird came from my late grandmother. I think it was supposed to talk if you pushed a certain part of it, but it either ran out of batteries or broke by the time I got it. It never let out a single peep in my presence. His voice was most likely pre-recorded. Perhaps it belonged to my grandmother even. However, I was much older when I realized that. At that time, the toy moved to collect dust on a tall shelf and eventually disappeared altogether. I couldn't even remember why I got the melon plushie. Its shovel face was really cute that I thought about it. Back then though, I was too young to reach much into its expression and simply played with it by throwing it around. Being small enough to fit into my palm made it the perfect ball to throw around the room. I watched his arms flail in the air as he did all sorts of acrobatic tricks before crashing into the wall or ceiling. One day, however, I lost it. I only rediscovered it when I was already in high school. I was looking for something in the old closet when I found it all covered in dust. Despite the passage of time, its facial expression remained the same. The diary girl brought the doctor toy. Okay, apparently it was the mascot of some hospital. It originally belonged to a kindergarten she attended, but she liked it so much that the nurse ended up giving it to her as a present. We would sometimes take out our toys and play together when we were still in our early years of elementary school. Okay, I'm sorry, wait. What do you mean it belonged to a kindergarten she attended? Didn't you guys go to the same kindergarten? Like, all three of you? Whether the diary girl is Sachiko or Narasaki, all three of you went to the same kindergarten. So, what do you mean it belonged to a kindergarten she attended? This time, we tried to make a play with our plushies as the characters, but we failed to construct any sort of continuous story in the end. Is this New York or something? I stopped the car and stepped onto the cape stretching into the sea. Only a low fence, its wood mostly rotted away, separated me from the water below. I came closer to look at the huge bridge partially obscured by the mist. I could see the port town beyond the dark sea. Are we in California? The cables holding up the bridge glowed gently between the dark night sky and the boundless black sea. Countless lights also sparkled in the direction of the city. This is bright enough to be seen from space, I bet. More than anything, that example makes me think of that TV show about squid fishing. Doesn't Sachiko look different here? I guess it's just been a while since we've seen her spread. Hey, do you think that bright area on the bank was where the crab sign was? I pointed the brightest part of the port town. They have night tours too, so it's highly possible. I wonder where the cable cars are. You go straight down to the waterfront, so probably around there. Sachiko leaned against the fence with one hand, then pointed at the lights in the distance with the other. She slowly trailed a finger along the slope. A gust of cold wind swept across the cape, making me shiver. I let out a sneeze. It's pretty cold by the sea at night, isn't it? Why didn't you bring your jacket? Sachiko took out a thermos bottle and filled its cap with some hot coffee. I slipped it slowly as to not get burned. Feeling its bitter taste and heat warmed my chest from the inside. I'm all warmed up now. Just don't catch a cold out here. I won't, you definitely will. That's how anime works. Do you want some, Sachiko? I extended a half-full cup to her. No. Okay then. I feel that's surprising. I feel like Sachiko always drinks coffee when she's offered. I finished the coffee and handed her back the thermos bottle cap. She took it up and down a few times to dispose of any remaining liquid, then fastened it to the bottle. I should have brought my camera. Is it in the car? I think I left it at the hotel. Too bad. Oh boy, I really wanted the picture with you. I shoved my fingers into a picture frame and directed it at Sachiko, who placed a hand on her hips and made a pose. Bring this into your retinas while you can. Will do. Did that picture come out well? Extremely. Glad to hear that. But I need something more impactful to make sure I never forget this. I leaned closer to her, she too turned her face to me. Might as well. Ooh. Isn't this like in the wouldn't this take place in like the early 80s or something? Is this even legal to do here? I wrapped my arms around Sachiko's waist and pressed against her. Her long hair brushed against my hand. The scenery here is definitely something you wouldn't forget. I'm glad we came. Yeah, makes me wonder how many of the people over there are even aware of the beauty of this town. I imagine it's not many. What does that even mean? Yellow. Oh, new tips. Memories. Okay, that's a lot of tips. Petal, apricot, and water game. I guess we'll do that next time. Makes me wonder how many of the people over there are even aware of the beauty of this town. You mean the people who live there? Okay. Alright. I'm gonna stop here for now. I think at this point, it's definitely something like one of the characters is another character, like one of the characters is just part of the other character's imagination, or like, and some of them are like ghosts in the afterworld or something. I don't know. It's hard for me to. I keep saying this, but it feels really hard for me to make like an all-encompassing theory that like answers every question. It feels like there's so many odd details that no theory I can come up with can answer all of them. Or I can come up with some arbitrary theory that answers everything, but it's super arbitrary. Like, usually in a mystery, when you hit the right answer, like, you feel that it's right. Like, once you hit it, you can tell, like, oh, this is obviously correct. Like, this makes sense. Like, this fits, and this is, like, logical. Like, I can come up with, like, random bullshit theories that, like, work, kind of, but they don't feel right. And the tips are so weird. The fact that Narasaki said she couldn't leave the clinic. Well, that makes me think that it's like a dream, or it's in her mind or whatever. Like, it's not real. That's fine. But then other things that happen in the tips make it seem real. Like the fact that she said that, like, oh, there used to be a lot of doctors working here, but now it's only me. Like, what sense does that make if it's all in her head? What do you mean there were doctors working here? Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Memories. What does second trip even mean? For this tip. Second trip. This wasn't even her second trip to Tokyo, right? She said it was her third trip to Tokyo. So I have no idea what this is referring to. Maybe it means our second trip to the zoo, I guess. Landscape immersion. That's referencing what the photographer was doing in the zoo, right? And the thing with Takako turning into Narasaki, dude. I really hope, from the bottom of my heart, that the answer to all of this is gonna be satisfying. If it's not, I'm gonna be very disappointed. I hope that when I get the answer, I will think, you know what? I agree. That is a satisfying answer, and it answers all the questions, and I have no remaining questions, and answers everything. Good job, game. I hope that's what I think. I hope that the answer, like at the end, it's not gonna be like some extremely abstract thing where like there isn't really a clear answer, and it's kind of like artsy fartsy and like kind of pretentious, and like you gotta come up with your own answer. I hope it's not that. There's a good chance that it will, because it feels like that kind of game, honestly. But we'll see. Because I'm getting there's another visual novel I played. What was it called? 2236 AD. That's what I'm thinking of. I guess it would be pronounced 2236 AD. Sprawlers, I guess, for that VN if you haven't played it. But I mean, the game was interesting, and like I don't know if I'd say I didn't like it, but I was very disappointed by how it went, because it felt like it was building like a mystery, but it was just like there wasn't really an answer. It was all like just really abstract, and like it was kind of like up to your own interpretation, kind of, and it was like really meta and weird. I don't know, I didn't really vibe with the way the story developed in the game. So I hope this doesn't go in the same direction. But like I said, I feel like it may, because I'm getting those kind of vibes. Okay, anyway, I'm done for now. See you next time.